Good evening. This is the Dean of all things spicy from Conjured Vapors Peppers, and I'm here to do a pepper review for you today. So this is a Snow White Habanero. So I picked this up at a farm. I was at a pepper festival in Bowers, Pennsylvania, and the farmer is kind enough to offer for people to go to his farm and buy pods. But if you pick your own, they're cheaper. I got a few pods for $3, so why not? If you ever do go to a festival like that and they're offering to go to their farm and pick peppers, make sure you're there first thing in the morning. Because people devastate those fields. By the time I was there, and I think I got there around 1 in the afternoon, there wasn't much left. But anyway, let's cut her open and see what she looks like on the inside. Gotta smell yeah, you guessed it, my handy dandy knife. I like that smell. So, doing research on the internet, there are two different Snow Whites. Actually, I think there's three different Snow Whites. This Snow White, there's a debate as to whether it's Snow White Habanero or just Snow White Pepper. Looks like a habanero to me. So I'm going to go with Snow White Habanero until I'm informed otherwise by somebody who actually has proof, right? What does she look like on the inside? There is a lot of pepper renaming that goes on out there. I don't know that Snow White Habanero versus Snow White Pepper is much of a difference. Again, show me proof. I'd be happy to call it a Snow White Pepper, but for now, I'm going to call it a Snow White Habanero. So, how does she smell? She smells hot. She smells hotter than a habanero. Snow White Pepper, Snow White Habanero. Not sure which, but we're going to go with Snow White Habanero for now. See how she tastes. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Quite interesting. It did the exact opposite of a habanero. It immediately hit my throat with a violent burn like a habanero does on the tip of your tongue. I'm now thinking there's something to this being called Snow White Pepper versus Snow White Habanero. This is good. It's slightly sweet at the outset with a citrusy note, and then it kind of transfers from there to slightly bitter, slightly floral through the majority of the chew, and then turns sweet again at the end. Heat level, I think it's still climbing. It's now on the tip of my tongue and the roof of my mouth. But It's not a violent burn like a habanero on the tip of my tongue. It's not like daggers stabbing my tongue. It's more of a whole mouth burn, like a super hot. Matter of fact, I think it's hotter than a habanero. I'm going to say this is somewhere between 500,000 and 600,000 on the Scoville scale, which is quite a bit hotter than a normal habanero. Um, some of the red Savinas will hit that, but the majority won't. And this is not a violent burn on the tip of your tongue. So I think there's something to this being called snow white pepper, but I don't like to rename pods. So since I got it from the farmer saying it's a snow white habanero, that's what I'm going to go with until I have proof otherwise. Um, the burn is now whole mouth. It's no longer in the back of my throat. It's just my mouth, but it's every surface. And I can already feel it in my chest, too, which is strange for something that's that low on the Scoville scale. It's also strange for a pod to affect my throat the way it is at that heat level. Usually, my throat doesn't get hurt, like, not hurt. My throat doesn't get hit like that to where it kind of chokes me up or almost sort of makes me speechless until you're looking at 1.7 million. It's definitely peaked and going back down. It's a good tasting pepper. I really like it. It might have even had a slight earthy note. So if you look at like the various flavors that a pepper tends to have, I think this pod had them all. I think. Sweet, citrusy, earthy, bitter, floral. Am I forgetting one? Or two or three? I don't know. I can't remember. But it's a good pod. I really like it. I would use this on just about anything. I don't think it's floral enough to affect flavor. I don't think it's sweet enough to affect flavor. I think everything was such a gentle sweetness, citrus, bitterness, florality, and back to sweetness that I don't think it would really affect your food. I don't know that I would powder this because it wasn't really floral. I think the majority of really, really, really tasty powders out there have to be either really sweet or really floral. Because in my experience, when you take a floral pepper and you dehydrate it and crush it down in a powder, it gives it a smoky flavor, right? So I wouldn't use this for powder or flake. Yeah, it's affecting my nose. Maybe it's higher than 600,000. Maybe it's 8 or 900,000. It might be, actually, because I usually don't sniff until around 800 or so thousand. I usually think of it as being a million when my nose starts to run a little bit. When my nose isn't running yet, it's just a sniff. Okay, or two. I can feel it in my belly. I am on an empty stomach, but I never feel habaneros in my belly. So I really don't think this is a habanero, but I'm going to go with snow white habanero because that's how it was labeled. It's a good pepper. I say that all the time, though, don't I? Trying to think of a dish that this would be absolutely excellent in. I think it would go so well with almost everything. Let me think. What would this pair well with specifically? Palak paneer or sag paneer. It's an Indian dish. If you've never tried it, try it. You have to like spinach. It's kind of like cream spinach with the cheese in it. If you want to think about it in American terms, delicious dish. It's actually one of the dishes that my wife and I kind of gauge an Indian restaurant on. Do they have a good palak or sag paneer, or do they not? If they don't, we tend to not really eat there. There are other foods we use, but that's one of them. Yeah, so my nose is absolutely going. So I'm going to say this is 8 to 900,000. Sorry, 500 to 600 didn't cut it. This is not a habanero. I'm still going to name it that in the title. And yeah, and if I grow it again next year, I'm going to name it that until I have proof otherwise. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. I really, truly appreciate everyone who takes the time out of their day to do that. I enjoy doing this. I love doing this, and I do it for you. So without you watching, what's the point? Well, I'd still do it because I enjoy it. It kind of somewhat feels like you're talking to yourself, but I know there's others on the other side of this. So thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. This is the Dean of All Things Spicy. I'm out.